Druzy, everyone knows, what does Privit? My name is Yanina Sokolova, at the Efiri rendezvous. Mi živemo induj to a breklivi sviti. I hope you're in a fighting mood. Vitaly Portnikov, a publicist, a writer, a Ukrainian journalist, to sit with me. I'm duj diakut, show vi so fuck. If I was sleeping, who do you want to rendezvous with? Sign up on Telegram and on WhatsApp. Before the speech, I fed, vi through one wrote Vitaly Taylor's. Abtala, Malmo. I am also glad to see you Bachiti.
For the sake of Bachiti.
I'm sorry for the ones that you're posturing. I naspravdi for people. It is important to paratravluvati a rozumiti. What does it all mean?
And Vtim, C is our profession.
Vtim, C is our profession. And I want to, shab vi at once buli informatinoji genimi. Duj bagatov kidivi Russian, I vij American. That viber for yourself is a part of bloggers, magazines, which you marvel at, and do not trust fakes. Pavno, I bought if Pavno, Navit Pitsim video.
I Navit having said by, show it is difficult to rob not a blogger, not a journalist, and not a politician. It is difficult to rob a healthy person. I shirovor, show kosno ludinas dotna vidris nidi chorn vid belogo todi, koli vona sogo pragni. Ale, if there is no such prognenia, and I know, there may not be such a prognenia, among the majestic number of people. Me C is known by the results of Nereznominitny Viberiv. Then, by chance, we are going to be able to climb, so it's important to see the reality. Ales Dorovi gluzd, yak me no, everything is one thing. Virishal new role. Firm I can bring you a but to navit, z podi ostanogo tiznya.
Come on.
Firm if me drink prem couriermantra velico Britain Kira Starmer on call Evropaiskogo Samta have London. And before the sim in quality guest Evropaiskogo Samtu, that the President of the Republic, Francesco Manuel Macron, having spent at Paris, I see at the same time, because of the greatness of Britain. The greatness of the voice of his Spivy entered the European Union. I me Todi Kazali. See majestically pardon of the British suspension. Pardon of the Vyborsiv, pardon of the politic elite. Yakov Zagali held such a referendum. In Europe, Great Britain is never going to die. The idea about how Great Britain can form a special union with the United States is absolutely unrealistic, because Gaiagra. Rafia Zavdi Paramagai Ideologia, I cite absolutely obvious speech, Yak Petribno Pamyatati in the European Union. Great Britain is one of the largest members, and I have said, the land, I'm in the European Union, I'm ready to eat. Sinosti, and not tilki interesi posed by the European Union. I'm going to change into little participant of the global gris. I'm sorry. I can't have a brother's fate. That's why I'm not all the same. I'm sorry. What did the Brexit minions seem to us? Show me Nichogo not Rasumo. Why all the liberal Nezrozumili Rozmovi on chorist Bryaselskoy bureaucracy? Now in Great Britain, there will be a Nemovirno Razvinuta Economica. Is there a problem in Great Britain in the future? Now in Great Britain, people will live more beautifully as a result, but bureaucracy will not dictate anything. Bolie Johnson, like a motorcycle, was rushing around all over London and repeating the whole thing, I would say, Rukayuchi on all sides. People Yomu Riley, that Chauvin charismatic man. The stink could not have been themselves, because people are so charismatic, just to say absolutely untrue speeches. For the sake of their mabitnoi politichnoi kareri. Boris Johnson's got it all right, as people have, as they have done. The stink was factually thrust into the mouth of the Conservative Party. For a short period, they came to Vladi. They made a Conservative Party. Pishli. I am now the Prime Minister of Great Britain. Love Kolishno Oppositsia Ludina. I pretend to be a leader in Europe. In such an important historical moment, I am a British citizen. I am a British citizen. I am a British citizen. I am a Brexit pardon. I'm sure it will be like this with the populist voices of the Persho half of the 20th century. It is true that the suspension of Itsinku Otrimuyut I Prezidentsky Vibori Dvi Tisiachi Divyatnatsiatsiatso Rock. I Presidential Vibori 2024 Rock. I mean Navit maybe not Natsivati Crane. Me Budemo speak about the results. I axis you vidpavidin patanya. That's why people can come in, that's why they stink, will be like this, yak bulo, for their appearances. Abo what it is so yak reality skladatelia. To be surprised, Donald Trump really vimigay vid Volodymyr Zelensky, show Volodymyr Zelensky saying, show Vin want the world, Well, having said Volodymyr Zelensky, show Vin want the world. I am absolutely sure that Donald Trump cannot be domovadysia about the world with Vladimir Putin. Putin invaded Ukraine, and not the contrary. Navit yaksho uyevidi sobi, show Zelensky 150,000 times, show Vin wants the world, and Vin, before the speech. To talk the whole hour.
So I was fucked 33 times.
It's not real to be seen. The reality is that the president's absence has caused the staff of the House to become the president of the Russian Federation. About the Pripanenya Vini. Now Patanya, and now Donald Trump is in the house of Vinny. Tay is not Vinny. To Soma Vinny Putin. Putin wants to continue fighting right up to the residual collapse of the Ukrainian state. Well, see Yogo Shire Bazanya, Vono vid Pavade Yogo ideology, Yogo Yavlinyam about those, Yak me Vigliadati Svit Mebutnogo. Yogo Yavlinyam about revenge. See Chit ideologicni orientir.
Ale, the role of the staff members could be absolutely inauthentic.
I could have been a beauty, because the staff did not have to take into account their reality, because they were mute. Before the speech, you know, there's a Patanya. Me Bagato is talking about Donald Trump. And I'll tell you this, let's turn to an alternative reality. Kamala Harris overcame the president of the newly acquired states of America at the elections. At once Vona you Bilam Domi. An additional help is to be carried out by Viskova. I show C for great Rahunga Smu. Me W whole hour I said, what the great package of help that Otrimali Ukraine from Polishany stats. For Chaucy President Joseph Biden, 67 Latv, it seems. This is the remaining package. Bo Bilshogo Spaluchenik Staffiv simply cannot beauty economicnik Moslivost Nadavit additional help firm such a sum. I can remember, I am in our affairs for the whole hour, saying, I will not have a politic Rishinya on my side. I will not have a Visnazenya economic potential of the Russian Federation, I can give you additional help. We can have a singing hour of Utrimuvati Rosian on quiet positions, Devoni no. C is not global Rishenya. I have a Pripineni Vognu, not Global Rishenya. Global Rishenya Tilki you politichni voli go, not Ukraine. Maybe the skilki is good for Kazadi, show the stink of the shield of Europe. Ale the fall of the film off the president of the Russian Federation Volodymyr Putina Natsivasia Yak.
I don't know.
The shield first sword. So firm without a sword, the shield cannot be booty. The shield has a new sword. The sword can be booty Zagardavani, Tilki Spilnimi Zusili to enter. It is not possible for Ukraine to use a shield and a sword.
Zapinka Amerikanskoy dopomogi have viv. Every moment of the day, if you write see interview, Trump Prizapiniv all Viskova help. Ukraine is still quoting the leaders of the country, not to demonstrate readiness to the world. For Denimi Bloomberg, Mova Ide about the whole American technology, Yaka Narazi do not try in Ukraine, including friends that Zbroyu, show no in transit on Litex, on ships Abo Chekon, transits in the zones of Poland. There have been a number of applications. At once the stench will appear on your screens. I hear Vinica Zapatanya. See Primus to the mines, Yaki Putin in Rosmev with Trump, Abi Chiyumovi Vikanov Zelensky. Am I right to think, Chisi show inch?
I think it's just Dima's fault. Miv Zagali, ne Bakimo Zhodny Rosmev, Putina Z Trump, pro Pripanenya Vini. Well, it's real.
Well, you can't talk about them. I'm talking to Putinim, they're ahead of time. It's nice, it's nice.
Before Sim, I tay saying Z Putina, ale me do not know until Chogochi Rosmovi.
Me znamo general subject Rosmowi.
Putin, absolutely, it's not easy to talk about those about the mind of the mind. I'm the head of the mind of the whole world. Which may be Basuvasia on the basis of the existence of the first reasons of the mind. See not to the Ukraine question, I Pararasu, and before the sunset. Tom Show, Skama, Rosieska Federation Wymaga Skasuvanya Sina Bukarasika Satu NATO 2008. About new guarantee Ukraine Protlantic Tigrat / Gruz. Show Ukraine cannot Skasuvati see Rishenya. See Moj Zrobidi Tilki Krani NATO member. Putin I Vimige moreover, Shab Visk Spaluchenik staffs, Buli Vivadeni Z Quiet Crane, Yaki until 1991. The rock was known in the mental sphere in the flow of the Radyansk Union, Abo Buli part of the Radyansk Union. Mova I'd pro Krani, Kalashno Warsaw please, Baltic, Niskilki I Rozumiu, Kalashno Yugoslavia. Also, Tom Show move I'd everything about the country, that Prisnalsia to NATO, after Tisyak Atsit Divinosto Samogo rock. See Ukraine cannot Zrobidi. Ukraine is not able for the president to receive the staff of the Virishidi Patanya about Vivedenya Sichvisk. See Persia is the reason for the conflict behind the Putin dictionary. I Vashayu show all see absolutely Myachnia, that show Putin not Spiraya Zakinchuvati Vinu, but simply Vigadu Umovi. I allow you to Pradovzuvati. If you remember to help Ukraine, then I'm going to introduce, if you want to propagandize. I may disguise the fact that Trump is not in the way of Putin. I promise I'll show a whole hour about Sigavorov until yak Trump as president. I've been saying for the whole hour that Trump won't have the opportunity to stamp on Putin, so I don't give him the opportunity. I don't want to be lucky, because Trump is turning to the landing of the president of the newly acquired state, and not to the landing of the Cherivnik z Maragadovogo missed. Yogo features Tisku not Veronitsia from features Cisco Biden. Hi one jot. Tom Chauvin is just the president of the newly acquired staff. Not more and not less. Ayla in Nyogo it is possible, yak not allowing himself to be caught by President Joseph Biden. Vin can be stamped on Ukraine. For what? In order to disguise nezdatnost emboss on Russia.
Show Robotyme Evropa, friends, stay, declare at once to appear on your screens, but the main application can be characterized as a re-election of the European Ukraine. About C said Presidentka Evropejsko Commission. Mi bakimo, show shliaki virashenia C story, at once nemetsuyutsia. Ayla che wist C zbroj I bagato milliard no help Ukraine, abiv trimatisia, I na yak termin, and those who at once have been smart enough to procrastinate, see well. C has been rebroadcast by Svitu Zagali, has been rebroadcast by a European model of self-help. Kogo, ne bulo minuli rocky, Istoria z Trump naspravdi. Maybe they played positively in the key. What should we give, in principle?
Well, in fact, I absolutely do not call. In other words, about those, show Evropa Prokinulacia. That's why I've been feeling key for the whole hour. I've been feeling it for the whole hour.
And what's the stink of Zgodny?
Moreover, Europe has not slept. Europe lived in the Euro-Atlantic system without a care. Kia Bula system is not prompted by itself. Hurry up. Vona Bula was motivated for the initiative of the states martyrs.
For the fate of Europe.
For the part of the Europi Pislia, other Svitovoi Vieni. Before the speech, it is possible to say, to impose on the Vimogu the received staff, because if the system is Buvelasia, the received staff will be practical in the Uzi Evropi, in the Yaki Stink si Buduvali. In some Kranic occupiers Yak Germany, in He Kranic Visualite Yak Chi France Italy. In these lands, the stink permeated the system of Euro-Atlantic security. Because they wanted to change it to democracy, to Vilni Vibori, to Vilni Media. I guess, since all the lands before 1945, the Rock was known to be the owner of obo Nazi and fascist regimes. Obo Marionetkovic Yuryadov, Yaki Buli Stvoreni Związku Gitlerskoyu Payback Bilshoi Chestini. Evropi, ALY to Gitlerskoyi Payback, in Bilshosty. Sich Krajan Paravazny, Okrim their night, say, the European continent, Ale their te, you know, Norway I Donny Buli's God. Put under Nazi control. It's all the same, they're authoritarian. Evropa's Rozumila, show Shlyak to Bezpika see symbiosis. The military, the secular, the politic, and the United States of America. Tim Bilsh, show received the States of America, invested a few pennies in their majesty. The stinks of the politic schools, the couds of the Providni Politiki, z Usik Evropejski Crane. We are not calling for the Soros Foundation there. Yak vi Razumite, see Soros Yakraz Foundation played its role on the cob of the 90s for the Central and Western European lands. If the stink of the sun was born in Radyanskoy Payback. And Mova about Zahidna Evropa. All these people have joined the American universities. The stink was Pratsuvali in the Singtenki at once with the Americans. See all buv symbiosis, old-fashioned American Zusalami. Why should people be surprised, stink up to the White House, and get a blisky English move? That's why the stink of the Chestina Spilnoy system. Spilnoy sistemi bezpeki I demokracji. And then the vice president got the staff to speak, and we were all pozhartuvali. We've got to help you with the ultra-right parties, with the parties themselves, with the sites of the quiet, which will bring you to another. Sviatowine, against Yakimi Guvali. If you want, you don't have a bulo. Stias Nuvali navies demonishi Zusila for the whole. Mi pozhartuvali, we are not a Sakava, not a democracy, we are a Sakava Vigoda I enters. I'm not a rose, I'm going to catch you. That sea turned on 100 Rakiv Tom. Znovu still, it is not possible to say, show so not bulo. So bulo. At the 30th rock, on the 20th storage, at the Spolishen Estates, bulo Chimalo presented politichnoi, pid prim nitskoy lidi. Yaki got up to the ultra-right politichny glances. Sympathized with Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini. I have applied Henry Ford, Ludina, the creatures of which I have fallen in love with Adolf Hitler, Joseph Kennitz, the father of the Mabit President, the staff of the I Mabit Attorney General of the United States, Ludina. Yaka on the ambassador's seat. At the Great Britain, Parakonovala Britain. Domovleticia z Gittlerum, the more beautiful Domovleticia, Nij Voivodi. I have pleased the current president with the received staff, for now, Bouv is not Donald Trump, but Franklin Roosevelt. Not Svertati Uvagu on the British Vimogi I consume, because Britain is all one program for the same thing. Those who have been bullied by Pot, Pohovov Politishnu Kurer Joseph Kennedy. Vin Bouv's mushani put on their children. They took Joseph Kennedy, a young man, from a new sin, and drove him to the front of another Svitovoy Vini. It is possible to say that they have destroyed the health of the Yogo offensive. Since John Kennedy, I have been wounded for an hour by another Svitovoy Vini. Ale Yaksho be everything is not Bulow, Joseph Kennedy became the bicurrent president of the newly acquired states of America for sure. I vibudiv by his system Spivasnuvanya z Adolf Hitler. Yak Donald Trump, yak, according to the essence of the political reincarnation, I will look at the people. I want to vibudovidi the system instead of Vladimir Putin. So, I repeat again, this is not a novelty. It's just that I'm not a douche rose, so people are not afraid of the same Visnovkiv, z lesson history. Maybe the stink doesn't read the history. Maybe the stink doesn't know the history. The stink is not like people you know you read. Ale so chin aksha, see realist, in Yakimi open rice, if proshlo see Selena. Rosamite, see Sheplenya. Yak vid gripu. From Ushtam, and through the Rick, require Robidi now Sheplenya. See Sheplenya on 2-3 generators. Vona bilsh yak Sheplenya not d. Svidev's friend Vian. That me budemo z you live firm in such a sviti, in which me jivemo, to the new karkalomnev viprobuven to the people, if death. Shelter, ja I catastrophe, to create a new opportunity for a pinch for quiet, toe. Then we see a global catastrophe, to which we are aware I am happy, I am happy, I am happy, I am happy, I am happy. I am happy, 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 I am happy. I am happy, 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 I am happy. I am happy, 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 I am happy.
If you remember about C, tell our children abo nu ni.
If I remember about C, Roskazut, then we will be able to see it.
C is a beautiful phrase. C is a beautiful phrase. On the contrary, I am healthy. I need to be treated. I'm going to insert 5 copies to the drive of the Eura. After all, your quote, I've last wanted to get behind it. All is not necessary nedutsenovit, you say, and z policino, economno and s point zer. Well, I gave about the British to put the but. Can you admit us? Can you help us to coalesce with us? Can you change your mind? Can you help us not to play with us? Here, I think C unrealistic. Ale beauty more sub-themi, Ivdovi more. I will pose at such a call for peace negotiations, and I will become a stink, but I will not be able to. I will tell you in the door, well, there's a lot of them.
I do not give any possibility of peaceful paramovin. Ayla, I admit the possibility of a Pripanenya Voni du Zviazku z Visnazenium, the possibility of storin.
About the store.
About the store. I think it's quite acceptable. I do not know, it's just that the Rokche has come. Ale si bud so Pripanenya Vognu vid bez perspective nasti I buznati. I to niogo mi prosuvemos. I may be on Uvazi in both countries, not Tilki with us. Rosie has the same. Come the day, if Russia does not have a mother, it can be done. That's how it's intense. I want to give you a real result.
Figures say, show C not nabalisjum hour will become.
It's not going to be a nice hour, maybe by the way. Yak vi Rozamite, at a time, if we talk about the problem of Rosie at the Zviazku z mobilizatsiu Vieski, at the Zviazku z Tim. Show vidbuvetsia is technikoyu. Having let go, if everything is more and more difficult to deposit, then everything is real. Maybe on the real 25, but on the real 26th. After all, don't forget about it, the foundation of the National Dobrobutu, I want to get married, see all the same real. Groshi Petribny. Show BZ Sinami on NAFTA in 3-5 months, Rozamite. Maybe beauty is such a chaos at the Svitovi Economici, created by Donald Trump, in Yakoma Bilshosti Crane. Just maybe beauty is not affected by NAFTA, that will not be Pratsuvati Virobnitva. I see te prizvid to today's problems. Ale take, see all forecasts. And the reality of what to conclude. Show for Evropis Berezenia Ukrainskoy Derzhavnosti, see Patania existensin. Tom show vij propak parakonal, show what it is, if Ziakas Derzhavnost vidbase nearest. The stink of 1938 rock factually closed the door to the Znishenya Derzhavnosti Czechoslovak, and before that, to the Znishenya Derzhavnosti Austria. And I think that George Maloney can think at once, because Luden, I am a politic, I can say. A tacit patron of Benito Mussolini, I will give a majestic smile, if I get a pardon, if I get a beauty. As a guarantor of the Austrian state. That's right, Yaksho Mussolini. Zelishevsia such a patron, the pose somnivom could be absolutely inact res viviticia real. See one moment. The worst moment, about which it is so shocking to say, is that Great Britain and France have become a nobleman. Of the factitious liquidacy, the Czechoslovakians can defend themselves. See called up to the liquidacji Državnosti, I vidkryl the road to the offensive on Poland. Evropici all see pamutated. Americans are not Bulow. I cite, before the speech, Bula majestically the problem of Tadishnoi politiki. Aj Kordoni Tadishnoi Czechoslovakini Buli is formed for the mediocre fate of the Americans. In these conferences, on which there was a share, as a spectator of Europe, the main role was played not by the British, and not by the French, but by President Woodrow Wilson. And then the Americans were self-deluded, they said, because the European is on the right, so I want to say Donald Trump. That's right, yak at a time. The axis of the whole configuration of the Suchesny Svit, in Yakimi Zhivemo, Vona Bula, was created without the middle part of the Americans in the 90 rocks of the 20th century. Amerikanci ukvaluvali Rishenya pro Viznanya sovereignty Kalashnik Radyanskik Republic. Boris Yeltsin, Leonid Kravchuk. Stanislav Shushkevich telephoned President George W. Bush, if the stink of Zustrikalicia Bilovaysky forest. I ukvalyuvali Rishenya about those, show Radyanskaya Union Prigopnye their own isnuvanya. George H. W. Bush. I George Bush without saying anything. Vin Sapital they Tilki, the Yakoibud share. The nuclear arsenal of the Americans has been seized by the Rishenya, Shodo Rozshirenya of NATO, I Shodo of that, show to NATO. It is possible to see the edges, as early as the Buli edges of the Warsaw Pact, Chibuli Allied Republics of Yugoslavia. Americans ukvaluvali Rishenya pro Viznanya Nezaleznosti Kosovo. The Americans discussed with Ukraine the possibility of their own development in the Euro-Atlantic BIC. See all Robili Amerikanci, not only Varapes. All the American administration in the whole took a mediocre fate, so Yak administration Woodrow Wilson took the fate of that. Shab Virishidi, Yak Vigliata Svit Pislia. For Persho Svitovo Vini Eugenia Americana, vid Pidtrimanya, order in that Sviti, as the stink itself was opened. It became the gate to another Svitovo Vini, not Tilki Munich. Munich did not Bulow, Bo the president received the staff of Franklin Roosevelt as a participant in the GRIS. At a time, if Donald Trump wants to Eugenudacia vid Doli Svitu, in which the Americans have played one of the main roles as an architect, vin te vidkrive straight lines to the third Svitovoy Vini. The task of Europe is to protect our continent with a repeat of the history. If the third Svitova Vina will be born, then Hivona will be born as Russians and Americans in such a paradigm. Mi meo switch. Zvicheno, Mozivo.
And Yaki Instrumenti.
Nuclear war at the union of Russia and China. Why can't you? But you know, because the authoritarian rulers do not want to know about themselves, they are spilnoi movi, I do not want to be pardoned. I Donald Trump, I Vladimir Putin, can get a pardon. I will bring you to the mine with nuclear strikes tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, in the Inchi Yakis Chastinsvitu. Everything can be booty. I want to get caught up. I'll tell you a lot, I think it's time to catch Putin. Ayla Vin can underestimate Trump's readiness to clean up your report and everything. I'm firm Washington, I'm firm you, the Kremlin is firm you, I'm firm you, millions of people, I'm firm you, without Maybit. It's important to us that our continent is peaceful at this moment, if the stink will be up to one. It's important to us, because the European Bula is a sposter and not a participant. Because the stink does not want to be booty with the New Year's participants of the European concert. Because the stink itself was formed, because the stink was written not, then the European may think, yak. Be careful of the result, if the stink itself is in the Zashmat.
Vibnulan Adernos bro for Ukraine, in Rackers quiet pondus, that Zaras G, C pro no.
The fact that there is no nuclear potential, like Ukraine can be through the Skilky, 10-15 rocks. All one Nikoli will not be able to reach the nuclear potential, like the Russian Federation. Well, maybe a dozen missiles in the result. All one Rossiska Federacja can znishiti z boku, blasno nuclears bro Ukraine with a stretch of kilko dienev. I proponuvav by Inchu model, nabagato bilsh effectivnu.
Yaku.
The model, I will cut down the model of the European nuclear zahistu for the fate of France and Great Britain.
Yaku mi role in Kiamu Grimo.
Mi yak shastain parasolki. It is a coincidence that in this situation, there is a Nimikina, France, Great Britain, Nimikina. As a sponsor of the Chinese history, you can say that Vona gives potency to her economy. See well not my idea, see idea para MERS. Maybit Federal Chancellor Nimikini. France has its own nuclear charge, as President Manuel Macron says in Nimikini. I may not be in Nimikini. I don't seem to be, що si обов'язково вацеючи, що сполучені штати мають відігравати провідну role. I still seem to be in a situation where I have got the staff to go to the gris povnistю.
Well, Ale, look like that show.
Nothing has come to Kinsia zrozumilo.
Чому ви таказ?
Tom що si pulled обов'язково zagalmuetzia. Si перші 100 dnів імітації діяльності. And potom poknitsia ekonomikni nagarazdi, padinja rating, protesti. I pulled abo zagalmuetzia, abo parade on inchi reiki.
Well, at once, the Astoria Z embargo has entered.
Zvicheno, Amerikansiv Chekayat Tiajki Chitiri Rocky, I nevedomo, to yak naslidkiv si prizd. Ale those, if you have a White House, you can get married politichni orientiri, me perfectly see no. Trump is not a human strategist. Vin Ludina show, I nevedomo, yak vin bood shukati orientiri, in order to be able to be like Tim, to whom Vin is like.
Before Tim, as before you, I read there a number of novelties about those who are still Vimige Vibeken. I was surprised by the interview, Vence. I did not come in a long time ago. Everything is crazy, sir, I film.
I don't botch you from President Trump Godne, sl about those, show Vin Wymaga Vimoshana. Vin talking about those, show President Zelensky may have a little visnakitisia z Tim, yak Vin put up to the world.
This quote clearly is not straight, but for Bloomberg's information.
Ni vibachate, so see not so not protsuya. Me bachili President Spalashena Staffiv, yak saying, shovid chogo Vin want. All chi quotes agents z pozolanum on nevidum geral chividum, I all chi vimogi people, I know how to be charged with Trump. Chi sustain, I would say, a noble etiquette. And orientiviticia is difficult on those, show say the head of the power is publicna, and not on Rosmovi Vens, Olts, Rubio. The main task of Vance is to live up to that moment. According to Trump, he will definitely be here on the Memorial Day. I am the new president of the newly acquired staff, play the new Vibori. I am the living Trump himself, I am not a sick of it. Yogo sick of it dead Trump. That Vin Namigatsia before the living Vislugia so, Shab Zelishitsia, is entrusted to him for a long time. I want you to know that we are Wiklika Namavern Rosdratuvanya Donald Trump with his own voluminous activism.
Seriously.
So, well, they wrote about the sea more than once.
And you were surprised by the 10-year-old video, Devin characterizing Trump.
See, I think, is not very significant. Trump himself 10 rakiv, to that te bagato chogo saying. So it doesn't matter much to Trump. Got snakenia, show Vin yogo satima. Musk ter satima, el mac 4c to pay. And all inchi people, Zagali here. There is no meaning to it, let's say Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio has been working as Secretary of State for a long time. Vin booed the earth to grow, Shab Yogos Elishili for an hour. Why is it important for you? See inch Patanya. I'm introducing, it's wonderful, if people actually know their own political reports in advance of absolutely insignificant villages. To that, let's go ahead, because they are Trump's Secretaries of State in Persha Kadinza. Mike Pompeo, me Pamutamo, really. I those, Vin Zelishivsia in Nida. I want to actively try to know my miss with Trump, not without thinking, because the worst Trump I will not be there. And who's boov in front of Mike Pompeo?
And I'm not talking about it. It's the River Stillerson. Oh, right.
I show. Enton Blinken, yak politichna figura, to pour into the American history. What is it? To that show Vin boov is a self-appointed official in the administration of Joseph Biden. Che Henry Kissinger, self-gravic in the administrations of Richard Nixon and Gerald Ford, Che Medlin Albright. And now Zrobimo Sprobus Gadati, who were the state secretaries in the administration of Ronald Reagan. Don't you remember?
Ni.
Well, Ronald Reagan is an historic postage. And Kizin was Secretary of State before Reagan. And what about Yogo Pamutate?
So, Pamutayu, Tom show Vin Boov Sebeknim. I do not know, Che is correct. Ale Vin Boov Sebeknim.
And Ronald Reagan has one subsubject. See Ronald Reagan. They're Bewley people, Yaki Bewley do strong politicians and diplomats. Alexander Hike, say General. Inchi Bewley Vidomi people George. Schultz is a former Secretary of State, hello, for George H.W. Bush, and I will not have mercy. Ale me about sich people are practically forgotten, that's why the stink is not Bewley Sebeknimi. Marco Rubio is not a subordinate of Donald Trump. No dumb subcontract commissioned by Donald Trump. Beer Persvisky Tilky Tom, show see freaky. Yaksho Beachy people did not bully with freaks, meave Zagali about them nothing be I did not think I did not know. Moreover, there are administrations with subcontracts, and administrations without subcontracts. Biden's administration Beulah administration subknoi. Trump's administration is not a sub-administration. See the right not Tilky, Yak 6 Batchite, in most tramp. They are people, they are sub-administrators, they are people, they are not. Barack Obama all Bulo sub-co, curiously enough. Barack Obama, Yaskrava Osobistist, Ale Hillary Clinton Beulah Figueroa, Joseph Biden Bu Figueroa. All Beulah Figurami.
Viesi.
On which Bulo is possible. Bulo Orientivati, Spivpratsuvati, stink poured on the president. And then ni.
And who is Plive on Trump?
Trump. Trump is alive in such a vulik. See uterus bzolinogo vulik. There one sidit in evidence, her golf, acts of bjola, gutted. Vona not duj rizriznie sich bzil. To Vens, to Rubio, to Volts. Well, just vono lita. Inodi Orientuetsia on the village of Bial, Yaka brought honey. Everything is going to turn into a chaotic isnuvanya Bioini Vulik. The task of Biel, Yak in Biolinam Vulik.
Exaggerate the uterus.
Shab Matzi Bulo Dober, everything show vidbuvetsia beyond the boundaries of the Vulik. Maybe significant tilki zz points of the dawn, to know how to be quiet, on which it is possible to take nectar. Try it on honey. For the uterus. Yaksho kvitiv nime I nectar nime, siv zagali not sakavo. Is it possible that there will be no Rossi in Yakoma? And the phrase of the Speaker of the Sovereign Duma of the Russian Federation Vyacheslav Volodin is very beautiful.
See Putina on the right.
Well, of course, it's not going to be Putin, it's not going to be Russia. Vi W. Bachite, show people, Yaki Navkalo Trump speak, approximate Chi Sami speech. See model, politic model of the Vulik control. Here to come to the Inip. Pachina strichati to Vuliki ikazati, de moi garanti bespika. De my parasol. At once there will be boards. Bang bang. So show mayet robidi bioli vuliku, I show mayet robidi botka. Stink that Sobi Spokino will be engaged in the year. Firm here, honey is so bogato, fake. And at once there will be Greek. And bang. Show tea knocking. Vinny. Well, I Zviceno, Potom chi unhappy piatachki. Macron, Starmer, see everything, calm down, Bioli, calm down, Kuboshak. Everything will be garazed, you will have honey. There will be a parasol in you. Do not require to buy honey. Stink for the sake of honey to paragrize the throat. For my everything. See just Zvicena Sinka, see Kazachka. Rozumiat, Tilki in Casti pro Vini fluff, not Bulo Putina.
So, I before the speech, pondered, Poki vi Rozamite. What is the role of Imnadiliti in Ki Sviti?
I'll tell you, show Siv Zagali absolutely incha analogia, yaksho garlic. I inodi think about the analogy with Tolkien, yaksho seriosno, is svit Tolkien, de yakres versus Raleigh povnistu Rospodileni. I nastivna ter vistupal, before me Molodenovo auditory, shadow down. Chesno, dite, that's why I've been reading Tolkien in my life. For yourself, you know that, because of the fate of my childhood, Tolkien buv zabaraneni. That's why I'm reading Yogo as a student. On the reprint. Think about it, Lord, I'm reading Tolkien's reprint. It doesn't matter, Bagato is all Bulo. Such a Nemo Verni in Key Rock. Siege factually Putin Vistupe in the role of Sorin. I give away all the key kilt, all the possessions, to whom I want. A Saruman, who has put on a kilt in Washington, looks like Sorin, wants to be justified, in mauve by beauty. The defenders of good right. Ivsi Buli Nemovirnos Divovani. Bagato Mogutnin Narodiv. Elfi Nomi. Nomi si, so by Movidi, just steal, Yaku Zagartuvala. In Dusseldorfi. Elfi to Parisi, Bagato to whom? Ale share to lie down in the middle of a nasty fraud, in the middle of a hobbit, I'm sitting in the burrows, I don't want to do anything. I want to have a garden of plihati. Lielku karidi, govoridi yakis misenetnitsu mis susidami. Ailvid sich absolutely nezuzumili visim inchim stvoren, to lie down, chiviziv se svit. I share of Soren by Saruman, I share of all the great peoples. To lie down in the middle of the hobbit, for me Vipanilicia, in the central role.
Show Hobiti wise Vosku is Tim, show me Z do you know at this moment. May it diati.
Triba didi is nishidi kills. There is no such thing as a special robidi, see V's written.
Nothing special.
Well, ale Sitaka is more expensive. Sitaka is more expensive according to the history. So it happened. 6W Bachite shows Adite, If CCB 2022 year, 2014 year, I can say. I'm show seem that everyone knows what does Z show bud ismatana. Ni, I know, everything will be reconciled. Ale I'm going to explain, it's such a politic process to build up to the Suvorok tectonic plates. On the right, not in Ukraine, but in the broken rules. It's just that Ukraine has become the center of their speeches. What would I think, if at once the president of the newly acquired state would proside with Ukraine in any other possible?
Everything is new, everything is new.
It has been a long time since Biden Buv remained the president. They said that Ukraine had become a spalt of Svitovo Przi. Navit chi viesi priami efiri, yaki veli Svitovi vidanya si prozviachenia Rossisko Ukrainsky vieni, znikli.
Don't be surprised at anything.
Don't be surprised at anything. Now it's time to be alive again. Mova Viklyuchno about Ukraine. At Washington, at Paris, at Berlin, at London, at Delhi, at Beijing. That's why the food is not in us, but in the rules. Rosia wants to rewire the rules of Povnestu. Yakis Krani can z sim pagajuvaticia, Yakis beauty neutral, and Yakis can beauty prodi. I'm such a rank to be a Russian, Rosamite. Me navit cannot paradbechidi yogo naslidki, that show nemozivo paradbechidi naslidki to the Russian. If the ship is repaired, you can get into the hottie. Hey, you don't know, you float in, the axis here will be I show. Fail, tsunami, chivai just wonder here, yak your budnek just ruinutsia, I say, dad, budnek to poboshenya. Yak can see predict. Yak is it possible to predict? It's not nice. That me meo zi uvitsidi in the land of the corpse. C is important. I'm in the key Levi, I'm going to be formed, I'm going to be a kill Svisevolod.
Oh, the problem.
Treba Takas right at Tokyo.
Did you have a bee?
Vishlo, ale many lin. I am Linivi Ludina.
Not really. We haven't said a word about China. Ni words.
And show China. China at once to sit sobi on the Berchianzi, check, Pokipov's propliv Donald Trump. We show, don't batchite, show Donald Trump to rob everything is possible, and it's not nice, shab pozalidi China.
Well, maybe I don't understand anything. I don't know.
Me said Minologo Roku. Show China Otrimov Silu Lo Politichnik Paramog, Vikaristovuichi Zahidni Mechanismi, Rizni Mechanismi. Politiski Paramoga candidate on elections in the Maldives, Ivigana Ndiki Fleet. The pro-Chinese candidate moved to Vibra in SRI Lanka. Me for Sim is not duj stitchable. ALC Veslivo, Svicheno, siege just Ukreplenia, in Asisko Takakonskomu regioni. The pro-Chinese candidate may be able to move firm Bangladesh, de China victorist mechanism revolution pro-Disno authoritarian. Ale pro-Indian, order Hassini Vasid. Bangladesh, Yaka Krana, Yaka became an ally of India, I'm going to turn into a potential ally of China. Tim Bilsh now, if USAID, I'm their finansuvali majestically kilkist humanitarian proktiv, zvidti practically pishlo. I now Patanya, to tudi preed, India ch China. Who will want to get Bangladesh eliti? Svicheno, China. There were a lot of such applications. From the school of Prikladny, but Vikoristanya Mahana, that general to take pose our awareness. See Pepiana please about strategic partnership Ms. Kittam, Cook Islands. Do you know what Cook Islands are like? Ni. C. Asociovana Durzava, Uskladi Novoi Zelendi. C is not an independent power, C is a power. I have delegated a lot to Wellington's people's politics and defense. And one's nahaditsia in strategic, it is important to F. Yak 6 resume, stes quiet sen. I firm the Prime Minister the Minister of Cook Island, Prisdet Z power. With a visit to China, I write to the Prime Minister of the People's Republic of China for the sake of a strategic protest. Because I don't know anything about New Zealand. Vin spachatku Prisdet I skaz, I'll show you to please the order in New Zealand, the stink will be right now. Well, see approximately Yak Trump, before the speech, to talk about his Paremovini. What is the reason? What is the mechanism? And here Trump factually admires the mechanics of Myako Sili at Svidi, because I have a quiet world like that. Yak Vin Zbiraya Vidnovlu Vadi Kipazidi. Zvicheno, Chinese show. The Chinese know for sure that the plan of Russia will fail for China. The Chinese are pumping, now they have got the staff in a healthy position. The ambassador to China at Colombia on the day when he conflated with Peter Trump, saying, at once the Chinese Colombians Zasunki know to be at Vichy Tokshi. Vin see by tweeting insmas. That's why the stink above them is just more familiar. Trump wants to Rosmovliati z Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping is not pospashe zimi Rosmovami Pislia Obranya Trump. Well, that's why in Washington, they say that China is a headache, but China is stronger. Make China great again. Therefore, you know, this is not Trump's problem. I'll tell you the truth, because the problem of the Americans is behind my warnings. The Pavna Narozena, Evropejsko Acidico policy. Americans resettled and settled. It doesn't stink like a rose, but people can have booties in their favoritism. It's just a Roswit of territory. And a lot of pennies. That's why it doesn't smell like a rose, because the rulers of the former powers can cherish historical categories, and not economically financially. So, the stink is not a rose, but say, those who are spreading America with Russia and China. It's not democracy, but competition. Now Russia is just going to be in the NIST. I have become a great hour. Now America has come to Europe, so Russia, it's a secret, wanted to rock the entire Bachiti rock in its own zone. Ibula is close to Kogo. I want to tell you, show Palmiro Togliatti mig paramagti on parliamentary vibers in Italy. And Maurice Terrace ma all can paramagti on parliament. The parliament of the French vibra, Yakbi without asking the call of the collective I am ahead of the state of America. And now we are going to see ourselves, show Radyansky vpliv buv, by tu Pyrnysky Pivostrovu. I Hispania for the death of Franco, in such a situation, would not have become democratic. And the communist power, the same vpliv communistiv toti, I socialistiv live, allowing by to create there such a power. I want to tell you, for the revolution of carnations in Portugal in 1974, the Titanic Zuchili, the Americans. The Portuguese political forces, the right and the center. Velocia Vriachuvati Portugal, vid Vladi Komunističnoj Partiji, na Choli Zalvara Kunjala. Voni Vij Buli Redi Zahapati Vlad. Pershi Generali, Yaki Buli under Vladi in Portugal, after the collapse of the regime of Marcel Cayetan. Buli by people of communist views, Yak ta Yak General de Costa Gomes. In this situation, if you are a rose, Russia is in, if you have a vision of getting the staff of the European Union. Then you will be the hegemon of the European politic, for the addition of the ultra-right and ultra-left forces. And China vas hey, show Yaksho Vin Vision got the staff of Asia, then Vin will be the hegemon of Asia, I see for China. Is satisfaction zaklanyanya.
So, Viskova dopomoga, Yaka vidmenina Ukraini, Tim is not less than not vidmenina, Yaksho I do not have mercy. There Israel I Yejapet Bewley voiced.
Well, I'm going to try to help you. See Beulah Zavdi position Trump, show Vin made dopomagati Israelu, and Biden Yoma not so dopomagov. I see, before the speech, the problem, the reason, Yaksho say nothing about Israel. See the problem is that the mechanics are getting worse, on which me everything is spiraling, Yogo is now mute. I, before the speech, do not know, show Z Sim Robidi. They were saying, I'm talking, I'm spiraling into a two-party game. Ukraine. There is no Respublikantsiv Congressive is not visible, and I will help Ukraine. See Bulow can be seen on the Trump campaign, if the majority of the Republicans voted to help Ukraine in the Congress. Ale, if they voted for the help of Israel, they knew that they were representing a Democratic Party, they voted against it. That is why it is not possible to spiral now in the literal sense of the word on the two-party Pidtrimku. Israel will fight for the Republic, and Ukraine will fight for democracy as a result. And there are a lot of problems of the same kind in both countries. I'm attacking authoritarian forces. I don't want to give people a chance to live in normal Svidi Virashuvati problems politiknim shlyak.
And what is Israel Sakavi for Trump more needs Ukraine?
An electorate.
Electorate.
Hello Yakim. Who, in your opinion, is voting for the Republic?
Well, I think I'm voting now.
Ni Avrayaski Viboris Galosit for a Democratic Party.
Seriously.
Svicheno. I am important to be an American in a European campaign, not to be a politician in the order of Benjamin Netanyahu. I am not actively trying to be in the central history. I am trying to be at a close meeting at once. Vrahovuyach that sociology, as in Israel itself, as in the United States of America. It is possible to state about the existence of two different political parties in the Jewish people. See not Pershvid Bulosia, so Bulosi Israelim Iudeu, Yakvi Pamutate, in the hour of the Bible. Ale C vid Bulosia. Ale for Trump, the vote is majestic, so the Christian name is evangelical.
C Baptisti.
C ne Baptisti.
C ne Baptisti.
C religioni gruppi, Yaki Viriat at Messiansky Orientieri, say, Pavyazani Nasamperd Zavre by the people, by the Holy Spirit of Christ, by the people, by the people, by the people, by the people. By the people, 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 by the people. By the people, 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 by the people. By the people, by the people, by the people, by the people, by the people. Well, Baptist perhaps, ter echoes Mr. Buddit C dialogue, ale C sama boule arzen English protestantic a groupie. There are approximately 6 million people in the United States. Not more, 6-7 million of. I stink not to be shy of the electorally weight, the stink is important, yak electorate, Ayla see all one thing is not so digital. And there are dozens of evangelical Christians. See Seely Stati. I see Respublikansky Stati. Mike Johnson, you say there is no such middle ground. That Trump is going to be on the key group, about all collective prayers before the Zasedanium in a row. See Nasemperd Krok, na Zustrik. Conservative Christian communities, yak I Baratbazi rights mention, yak I Namaganya Paratvoridi got a staff. On such a conservative power storikno divnini, see Krok to sich vyborsiv, show stink navid. I did not think to vote for someone else. I mean, this is not Baglivi Searle. And the whole electorate is important. Ivan the Great.
Panev, your Shastain is ill-fed. Yak si Pratsu. I'm announcing a Vitaly Aboidu for Kerma on Spitlofori. I'll record the announcement. Vipid announcement put Patanya. Right, be a weasel. On our resource, Telegram, WhatsApp Sokolov, Zapatanya. Pi Pitai Peter Panet Nyogo on Obkladinsi. Vitaly Kazov. Show hi idit Voivodi Bidny. And not Elita. Druzy. Vitaly explaining on Storinchi on his Facebook. Zrobov post. Divin explaining. Show Vinmo on Uvazi. I Vitaly, Vibakt, I'm going to say 2 words. So, for the rest of the day, I'm Spostarigayu, I'm an intern for example, I gave, defend me about my blue schoolboy. I'm Chomas for the Duma commentator. Both of them, may I serve right at once in the Shostam class. Axis see all Rizitsia, I pot Rozginyatsia, close at the Wigliati Proti Inchi people, Yaki serve, well, Proti Insensi Bezpavaji, I to myself, Yak to Aliti, I will show that, show me may not want to take the edge. I see Chula Shoto to myself, I see Bachila Shoto Vitalia. Friends, Rosiani see really Vikoristavuyut, Greyuchi on your.
Well, according to Perch, a propaganda company has been prepared for the Bula. See Bula Spravznia Company, Yaka Bula was prepared by Russian TV propagandists, and so-called Trumpists. Rosiaskomovnimi, Yaki, Yakvas Hayat, Obslugovuyut also Kremlin bloggers, Trumpists. There's a lot of little godly people there, and they're going to take up fakes here, and they're going to take up fakes in America. Before the speech, the very great Rahunkum, Yak see all really protsu. These people are coming to the Ukrainian ether, saying to everyone that Trump is into -4 years to make a mistake. We will try to extrapolate to the American Ukrainians, and I will vote for Trump. And Potom people, Yak all see wonder I hear, stink just jinit vid obstrilov, abo otrimuyut funerals on their children, I onukiv. And we'll have a head problem with the pack, not those who really smelled it, but those who I didn't say. And I'm saying a simple speech. I'm not saying, show bidni me voyevodi zamist lit. I say, the whole country is spilna. If the idea itself, if the deputy does not fight, then Mite does not fight, Vona does not sprime. Rome is serious, that's why all may fight at once. And Elita, so-called, was at war, if Vonov Zagali Bula at the feudal suspension, she could drive the Batrakiv ahead of herself. And me Jivemo at the democratic crani, to bidni Chibagati, in Unime Yakihos Pravili not Voivodi Chivoivodi. Everyone has the same huge rights.
Ale same prices boobs mini absolutely. Friends, I was surprised to eat. Voni Viesi, V Principi, Buli Siogodni we voiced Shodov Sikrain, Yaki Usikavili, 2, that I asked Vitalia, to please you, to honor us, Pamutate, show Soba Mi Patemo guest, show Vin Radi Red. I also pay for the feedback. We've been reading books, we've been reading books, we've been writing books, we've been reading books, we've been writing 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 books. Our director of editing, who has just read the same book, has been happy for a long time.
I'd say, if I read an hour at a time, I'd be happy, right?
Shows Novu.
Well, of course. An hour at a time at the Tapai. Yaksho seriosno, chiyaka bukvid pavade moment, I mean neshodavno pro sizga duvali z Andream Kulikov, C Foundation. Yakazima. That's why there's a little bit of a story going on there. I'm writing a big hero, because this is how the story will develop, I'm afraid. Yak is skemi in order to hide the people in the minds of the collapse. Ayla raptum, on I am there, Thisiakalichi Z is a hero on Prisvisky. I'm Nazavim myself as Magnifico Gigantus, Yak Trump. I vins minu hid istory, to that show vin absolutely not pedvladny sim. To that I zavsdi vashayu, show in usik folding situations naspravdi require to read Asimev, Yaksho seriosno. C is a little helper of that, show vid buvetsia with our New Year's history.
I'm getting well, if so often. Come to the ether. Inkoli navit diakuchi about Zaliznitsi, Sibu virichni ether. I am healthy, because I am the most important profession, Trimati you in tone, and Z healthy cuckoo, Niskilki si can. People at a time. I marvel at the whole ether. I'm doing it in my own way. I'm going to go through the comments, but the stink is not rosy. I'm in the chaos of the vision. It's become more Gershniz Bulow. Well, it's possible to say a few words at a time.
I vas hayu, show the head problem bial udini si jidi, in the atmosphere nezdiesni oshikuvan. Idine like vid biak rozcheruvanya, vid biak stress, vid biak depression see reality. I feel absolutely normal to myself, psychologically. That's why I'm living my whole life as a realist. I'm not thinking about it, it'll be easy. Svicheno, if you protsush politiknim analytikom, is nahadishia in svidi absolutely chaos, then see all one. Show t protsush likaram, raptum to yukum yakas ludina, and t their ear gorlanosa, and the stink of the ear. Here on the stomach. I won't talk, I don't smell anything. Ale, what's there in there? Vuka okay my booty is here. I see problem. Ale in biakomu razimi memo shukati recipe. We usual, show realist won't so, the yakoi we'd like, abo taka, yak vona. Won't. The axis of the world is in those that can really be beauty, such that we want to be bichiti, see child of the world. And when people get older, they 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 get older.
Age at a time is not leather. Maybe it's real.
I think it's leather, it's Zakasha Krenu, Zminyu Kiu real, that it's not allowed to pay off to his house. Kazan, this is what the army wants, the snake is real, that is, if it is real, the snake can be real. It wants to be Trishki Zbrojny Sili Ukraine. Kozin, who knows here I protsuya on the Ukrainian economy, Zminyu Q realist, bo see that budget, yaki ki taxes. Yaki idit on the Ukrainian miss, on the Ukrainian Viesko.
I navit t, to marvel at us at once behind the cordon, I tune a tu, vi t zminyet.
Svicheno, in Istori Zavdi Pomeremagala Solidarnist. First of all, in principle, in the hour, if my people have learned the power, it is possible to enter. It is not nice to play civilizationally with such a majestic empire. What made us feel like we were in danger? What made it possible for us to see and to be excited? What made it possible for Christians to appear, to be able to tell, on the ruins of the whole ideism, to see? Solidarnist I decalo. Vera in principle, to the measles some linya for the wrong chinky. Those whose Nikoli did not bulo at our Nobotelev, Yaki lived for a long time Zdobichi. So, there are beautiful stadiums, circuses, writing books, science in them. Bagato chogo bulo moreover, show simply. That navit at once namovirno sobi uyavidi, yak stink all si otrimali. Ela galovnim rushelnim such a dignitary of the Roman Empire, the prophet was made, Yako was not proverbialcy a conscience. Before Kariv Sumlinya, no one has I Nikoli. Annie at Octavian Augustus, Annie at Vespasian, Annie at Julius Caesar, Annie at the hired Roman, Annie Nabil Shogo, Annie at Ovidian. Annie at Virgili. Not Bulo Sogo. Not Bulo Viri. Show it is possible to live according to human principles, I show for the destruction of these principles. Will never be punished. Bula Vovnena, show vid Sogo, it is possible to vid competitia. And as a result, the empire at once is simply a part of the archaeological museums. It is possible here in Jerusalem and in Tel Aviv to marvel at the past. It is possible to walk around the stadium, along the archaeological maiden in Caesarea, de live Ponzi Pilat. Yakim, humming without thinking, just play not win.
Vovnena, show without thinking.
Ios Vaslivi Rechi, pro Yakimi Memo Pamutati.
I am Duzbula glad to see you Bachiti.
Diakuyu, show Priishli.
Druzy, see Bu Vitaly Portnikov. Write in the commentaries you think. Expand your ether. Go to the channel, to Yakoma, and marvel at the whole video at once. Well, I try Memosia Kupu Solidarnist, Sovist I Sinist. Well, we stink. Let's H of Trimate Z Vru, Rogatica forward. It is cut on its own skin effectively. To Zustrici,